All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to your restorative practice. Today, I'd like us to start off, actually, for the next few weeks, I'd like us to start off with this particular breathing exercise. It's similar to, if you're familiar with the practice of Nadi Shodhana, which is alternate nostril breathing. It's similar to that. The difference is we're just going to breathe in through the left nostril and breathe out through the right. So you can use your hand to manipulate the nostrils, right and left, but remember you're just breathing in through left side and you're just breathing out through right side. And so if you have a stuffed up nose because it's cold season or something's going around, blow your nose. You could also just imagine or feel or kind of see if you can sense the air coming in through the left and going out through the right. So you're just kind of following the nasal passageway. So whatever you want to do, you can sit up nice and tall, sit in a comfortable seat, let your sits bones be supported. Just find a comfortable place to begin. I'm going to come back and sit on my bolster. And then, you know, if you're familiar with the practice of restorative, you know you're going to want lots of props around you anyways. So pillows, blankets, all kinds of things, all of that welcome in your practice today. Okay, so Chandra Bhedana, inhale through left, exhale through right. Right thumb against the crescent of the nose, and then I like to use my ring finger against the left crescent of the nose. The index finger and middle finger, they could rest against your forehead or they can curl into the palm of your hand. Sometimes it's more comfortable to rest those fingers at the forehead. Yes, so just place your hands gently there on the crescents of the nose, and then maybe close your eyes and start to breathe in and out through the nose here first. See if you can relax your right shoulder, your right elbow, slightly draw your chin into your chest, just a little bit to lengthen out through the back of the neck. And then the next time you're ready to breathe in, close your right nostril, breathe in through your left. Once you're full of air, close your left nostril, breathe out through the right. And we'll repeat that. So closing right, inhaling left. Closing left, exhaling right. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. So you start to find your own rhythm of breathing. When you're ready to inhale, just remember you're only breathing in through the left side. When you're ready to exhale, you're only breathing out through the right side. Do 2 more rounds like that. Try it on your own. And so once you completely exhale all the way out through the right nostril, release the right hand. Just take a few moments here to sit up nice and tall, breathing in through both nostrils. Good, and then blink the eyes open, just kind of roll through the neck a few times. We're going to work through the spine today in our restorative practice. So I want you to first check in with your neck. Just maybe a few semicircles. You can draw the chin into the chest and then move the head side to side. If you like, you can open the throat, chin up towards the ceiling, and take a few full circles. If you're doing that full circle, go the opposite direction. And then come back through center. The first thing we're going to do is come down onto our back, and the first shape we're going to make is going to be a twist. So if you know that twisting, you need a lot of support for the legs, make sure you have your pillows and your blankets nearby. Also, it can be nice to have a blanket underneath the back of the head in twisting. I always appreciate that. All right, so let's lay down on our backs here for a few moments. We'll just get our spine settled. Shoulders draw down the back, slightly tilt the chin in towards the chest. You can choose to lengthen out the legs if you like. Let's take about 3 breaths here. And then we'll prep for this twist by just first hugging the knees into the chest. Just give yourself a little hug, wrapping the hands around the shins, around the knees. That's already going to tell you some information about the spine. If the shoulders pop up off the ground, if the neck arches a lot, just taking in information about the spine. And then when you're ready, extend the fingertips and the toes up towards the ceiling. Go ahead and just circle out the ankles and the wrists a few times. Go the opposite direction with your circles. And then take a deep breath in, reach really long through both your fingertips and your toes. On your exhale, just spread your arms wide. So just spread your arms wide. Get grounded through the shoulders. Relax your hands, your arms. Take your right leg straight off to the right side and then let your left leg follow. So you're just coming into a twist in a different way than we usually do. Either way, both hips pointing off to the right, you're rolling onto your right hip. Stay broad across the chest and the shoulders. You can keep those legs straight if you like. You can also always bend the knees. You can add props in between the knees if there's a lot of space there. And then I'll set us a timer. I'll be here for 3 minutes. So right away, noticing where you feel sensation. Where in your body, what does that sensation feel like? You do your best to release any tension in the muscles. Maybe use your breath to do that. You could imagine breathing in space, expansion, and exhaling relaxation and release. Always an invitation to close the eyes in your restorative practice. Just drawing your awareness to your internal experience. We'll be here for about 1 more minute. Just do your best to continue to follow your breath. Soften the muscles, the bones. And you get heavy in your body and let gravity do the work. And take one more breath here. And then if you want to come out of this the opposite way you came in, that left leg's going to lead, reaching up towards the ceiling. You'll roll onto the base of the pelvis. Right leg will follow. And you'll pause here in a few moments. If you want to, you can reach your hands and feet up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in, stretch. You could spend some time in happy baby here or hugging the knees into the chest. So if you've already gone off to the second side, just stay with me in a neutral position for a few more breaths, whether that be just stillness, laying on your back for a little mini shavasana, or happy baby, or apanasana. Take one more breath in your neutral position. And then we'll inhale and re-extend the legs and the feet back up towards the ceiling. Big breath in there. And then just spread your arms wide, get grounded through the shoulder blades, stay broad across the chest, relax your arms all the way to the floor. Leading with your left leg, start to extend the left leg off to the side and let your right leg stack on top. Let it follow. You're just coming into a twist in a different way we normally get into it, but the basics of the twist remain the same. Right hip stacking on top, chest stays broad. You're adding support as needed. If there's a lot of space between the knees, use anything you want to, like folded blankets or pillows. We have 3 minutes on this side. Let's see if you can tap back into that idea of on an inhale, find that expansion. On the exhale, release, relax any tension in the body. And even if it doesn't feel like you can actually do that with the breath, just imagine what that would feel like if you could. So you can visualize it. Maybe you feel it. Maybe it's a felt sense. You can imagine it. What would that be like? And this twist that we're doing right now is actually a preparatory pose for the shape we'll take after this. So noticing things like where you feel the sensation in the twist might be helpful, especially if you feel twist or if you feel a lot of stretch sensation in the low back muscles or the glutes, kind of like around the hip area and the glute area. So if it's really tight there, the shape that we do after this, you want to make sure that you choose the right amount of support. And I'm going to give you lots of options for that. Let's stay where we are for now, following the rhythm of the breath. Take one more breath where you are. When you want to, you can reverse the same way you got into this. So the right leg would lead to pull you back to center. Left leg would follow. And then just take a few moments to adjust on your mat. So hips, spine, shoulders in one line. Spend some time here in this neutral position, whether that be just stretching your legs out, a little mini shavasana, hugging your knees into your chest, or maybe even happy baby. And then we're going to come to an upright seat. You can get there however you want. You could rock and roll on your spine a few times, and we'll come to an upright seat. And so remember what I just said about the twist we did first? It's prep pose for a seated forward fold. And if you have a lot of tightness in your low back, hamstrings, glutes, a seated forward fold can be pretty challenging. The same can be true for upper back tightness. So the first thing I want you to check out is if you were to extend your legs forward like this, does the spine slump back? Or is it relatively easy, I say easy with quotes, to sit up nice and tall? Do you feel your sits bones underneath you? Do you need to pull the flesh of the glutes back so that you can actually feel like you're sitting on your bony sits bones? One thing that's really helpful, I find, even if you're pretty flexible, is sitting up on something a little bit higher. So the hips get a little bit higher than the knees, than the feet. And so you can make that as high as you want, right? So this could be multiple pillows, multiple blankets. And so with our legs extended forward, another thing that can be helpful is to bend the knees and slide another rolled blanket underneath the backs of the knees so the knees can maintain a bend without any tension or effort. And then you can pile a bunch of props underneath the forehead. So it might work if you have, I don't know if you remember this last week if you were with me, but we made a little shelf with a stool or a chair, and then I showed you how to make a shelf with yoga blocks and a bolster. So like so, I have 2 blocks on their highest setting, and then I set a pillow on top. That way when I lean forward, just the same thing as you would with a chair, I have something to rest on too, so I don't have to get all the way to my legs. Okay, so get creative with what you have at home. Again, I like to use 2 yoga blocks. I just kind of make this little Jenga-like shape with my yoga blocks. And then I kind of tuck my chin into my chest and rest my forehead down there. You might need a lot of books or blocks or a really tall stool or chair. So rather than forcing yourself to hang out in space, build a support system that rises up to meet you where you are. You don't need to reach for your feet. You don't need to get your belly to your thighs. All of those things might happen over time, but they might not happen anytime soon, and that's okay. So we're holding this for about 3 minutes. And over time, if the muscles around the spine, the back body, if they start to loosen up and you feel like you're being inhibited by your props, you can always remove some props. Also, the same can be true in reverse. If you are feeling like there's too much tension in the spine, in the neck, in the back body, anywhere really, you can always add props and make yourself just a little bit taller.
Do your best to continue to breathe in and out through the nose, nice and slow. Can you find stillness? You have about 1 minute left here if you want to make any changes to your support system. Take one more breath. And then slowly start to uncurl your spine. Take your time with that, especially if that was very intense for you. Just go slow on your exit. Always better to go slow on exits. Okay, take a deep breath in as you sit up. Deep breath out. Now we're going to do the reverse of that for a counter pose. And so we'll start to come forward onto the belly, stretch the legs out behind us. And then you might want something that could work like a block. So that could be a stack of pillows, a stack of blankets. Again, get creative with what you have in your space. You might want that at the top of the mat. We'll sit up in Sphinx pose. And so you can come down to the belly. I always like to rest the tops of my ankles on like a rolled up blanket or a pillow. And then I'll walk my elbows forward until they stack underneath my shoulders. Okay, so if you need to decrease that sensation, what I see often when I'm teaching this is elbows will be way back here alongside the rib cage, which stresses the front of the shoulder head. And usually that's because of shoulder tension. So instead of that, there's a lot of tension in the shoulders and the neck. Instead of that, crawl the hands forward so the arms move towards straight out in front of you. And then you can always change the height of whatever it is that's resting underneath your forehead. Okay, so elbows, again, the alignment of the elbows is directly underneath the shoulders or in front of the shoulders, arms moving towards straight out in front of you. So find somewhere within that range of motion to rest. If you're using something underneath the forehead, maybe roll your head side to side a little bit and get the neck muscles, the jaw, the face to relax. Breathe deep into the belly. So good for the digestive system. Any kind of compression of the belly and belly down shapes in particular. Really good for stimulating digestion. But also can be kind of uncomfortable if you just ate something heavy. So notice that. About a minute and a half left here.
3 more breaths. And we'll start to back out of this by bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. You could press up to tabletop and take a few rounds of cat and cow. And you could also press up to downward facing dog if you'd like, or hips back to heels for child's pose. So take what you need, take a few breaths. Just releasing out of that shape. And then we're going to come into Shavasana from here. So taking your time. Set up your Shavasana with the spine in mind. Maybe softness underneath the base of the skull, a pillow or blankets underneath the backs of the knees. What would feel best on your spine right now? Take a few moments to settle in there. Relax the shoulders down the back. Maybe close the eyes. Soften your jaw. Continue breathing in and out through your nose, nice and slow. Please feel free to take longer in your Shavasana if you have the time. If you need to move on with your day, just start to gently wiggle fingertips and toes. When you're ready, bending the knees, rolling off to a side, just briefly pressing to an upright seat. We'll close out our practice the same way we started, with a few rounds of Chandra Bhedana, which is kind of like half alternate nostril breathing. So the inhale comes to the left nostril, the exhale through the right nostril. Thumb and ring finger to the crescents of the nose. Deep breath in through both nostrils. Breath out through both. So 3 rounds of Chandra Bhedana. Inhale, begin, close the right nostril, inhale through left. Close left, exhale right. Again, inhale through left. Exhale through right. One last time like that. Inhale through left. Exhale through right. In the absence of breath, release that right hand down. Inhale, exhale through both nostrils. Just take a moment to notice how you're feeling. Notice the spine in particular. Can you feel like you're sitting just a little bit taller? We'll close our practice by joining the hands together at the heart and bow the chin into the chest. Acknowledging this is my body, this is my breath. With reverence and gratitude to the practice and to all of our teachers, past, present, future, to the teacher within your own heart. Namaste, yogis. All right, and that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope you enjoyed your practice. Take care of yourselves, and please come back again soon.